Hey guys, it's Debbie with Debbie J's Crafting Corner. Today I'm going to be featuring something other than the lights that I absolutely love from PearBlossom Press. Instead, we're going to be talking a bit about the world's best foam tape and a different way to use this other than with your lights. It's fabulous for your light up cards. Absolutely. I do that all the time. But this time I'm going to be making a fun shaker. And to help me do that, I'm using a couple of new sets from the club kits from Spellbinders. We've got the Beneath the Bubbles Glimmer set. Look at those bubbles. And we've got Splash Tails, which has, this is the large die of the month. It has this fun little bag for you to hold your fish in. And my first thought with that is I have to make a shaker card with that. So fabulous. Anyway, you can also use the acetate sheets from PearBlossom Press, because what I did with the foil is I foiled that onto some acetate to be the front of my window. So let's go ahead and get started. I'll go ahead and show you how to create this fun shaker card using the world's best foam tape. Starting off with the Glimmer of the month and the fun foil that showed up with that in my box. Love this. I have to say that as soon as I saw the bubbles, I was thinking it needed to be on acetate. So that's kind of what happens sometimes. You get an idea as soon as you see things. So I'm just going to put a piece of acetate on here. Whenever you're using a hot foil system, you want the shiny side of the foil to be touching the hot plate. On the Glimmer system, you just kind of turn it on, wait for the ready light, and then hit the button. And then once that's done, you run it through your die cutting machine. So let's go ahead and take a look and see how this one turned off. Just peeling that off easy. And I was actually really amazed at how fabulously this foiled on the first go. You do want to make sure when it comes to any type of acetate, be careful. That can melt, so you don't really want to put it on there too early. Then I went ahead and cut out some pieces for my shaker and for my cute little fish that's going inside. This die has both the inside and outside of the ball of the little bag, so that was perfect. And then I did a little bit of embossing with the embossing folder of the month, which is called Coral Impression. And I decided I kind of wanted to layer them on top, so I'm using two pieces. I lined one back up inside the embossing folder after it was done, and then put another piece on top that I had already cut the window out of, and it lines up perfectly. Love it. Yes. Now I'm using some double-sided adhesive, because with plastic, you do want to make sure you're using a good, strong adhesive in order to make it stick. And yeah, liquid glue doesn't always work because it's slippery. So we're going to just put that down. I am putting extra tape on the rest of the panel so that it doesn't kind of pop up off of the acetate. And then we're going to burnish it down well, because yeah, I gotta. We're going to just take that off using our pokey tool. This is one of those types of tape that I cannot lift up with my nails. I don't know if you guys have the same problem or not, but that is one of the wonderful things about having a pokey tool. Mine is from Gloria Wolf. That's one of my buddies. She does sell those, so if anybody is interested, just leave me a comment down below, and I will get back with you with her email address so that you can pick one up for yourself. I think she's only selling for like $10, including shipping. I don't know. She may have changed her pricing, but I think that's what it was. Now I'm just going to lay this piece over the top and pick up that acetate. And look at how wonderful that looks. It looks like you've got bubbles inside your little bag. I absolutely love this. Yes, I think it is turning out wonderfully. I did decide to trim this down a little bit so we can see some of the orange around the edges of my bag. And then we're going to start playing with the foam tape. Now, I don't know. Oh, correction. I decided I want a little bit of color differentiation on this. So I'm putting a little bit of blue ink over the coral in the background. That's going to be right behind my bag. So it's going to look a little bit darker. It's going to look like it's a little separate. And I think that was a really nice touch. Now there is that bit of basically the frame of our little bag, and you know that there's some little tiny lines. You can't really put anything over the top of those, which is one reason why I don't have this popped up. It's on foam. So I'm putting some double-sided adhesive on the top part. That's the only wide part, and then I'm doing a thin line of liquid glue around the edges. Like I said, liquid glue does not always hold as well, but this is the part where it's not as important. I want to make sure that the whole thing doesn't pop off. So I did use some strong adhesive, double-sided adhesive for the top of my little bag, and now I'm putting on a block on it to make sure that it has time to glue. Then I'm going to go ahead and put my fish together. Yeah, I'm assembling everything before I let y'all see the foam. I mean, the foam is the star of the show, but these little guys are so cute. To put it inside the bag, I'm basically layering everything up on my card where I want it to go, holding my little fish over the top, and then I'm going to add the glue, lift that top panel off, and then I'll be able to position him so he's right in the middle of the bag, so it looks like he's floating around in there. This is going to be so cute. I'm sorry, I love this. I think it turned out absolutely fabulous. Just wait till we get to the end. I am going to press it down really well on there because I don't really want my shaker bits to go behind it, but I am going to use some thicker ones, so it probably isn't going to matter as much. Here I'm just trimming it down a little bit so that we have some of that orange showing around the edges, and I think that's going to be great. Look at that cute little fish. I did forget that we need a little eyeball for him, so I'm adding a little eye, and then I'm going to add a little bit more color to him too. So he's got a little bit more than just that bold orange. Now we're getting to the foam tape. Now this foam tape, like I said, is fabulous for using on your light up cards. Absolutely. It is double thick. It holds really well after the fact, but you know what? It is repositionable for a half hour once you put it down in case you make a mistake, like I sometimes do. So I've got this little bitty gap there at the edge. I didn't have quite enough of it down when I put down the first piece, so I'm just going to peel some of that up and put another piece in there and then trim it so that everything lines up perfectly around the edges so nothing's going to kind of drop out of there. Now I've got some little gems. These are little baubles that I've got from Scrappy Tales, and I'm putting them in the middle of my card panel, not inside the window because I want to be able to line the window up. Take off all the rest of the release paper. You probably noticed that I took the release paper off the biggest chunk when I was laying it down because you know what? You can curve it easier that way. And I'm using my T-square to kind of help me line it up so it is at the right distance from the edge. And making sure that it is straight. There is a new T-square coming out that's going to make that part even easier. This one I just kind of eyeballed it on two edges and just tried to make sure it was straight on a line on one side. Now I'm going to glue the whole thing down. Yeah, the whole thing down. I thought about putting a line in here, but that really would have been too thick. But yeah, now I'm putting the whole thing down and we're going to just put it down right down on top. Now back to the foam tape. Yeah, I love this stuff. This is double thick. So because it is double thick, I had room for all of those little baubles in there. I usually put down, when I have a shaker card, a lot of times I'll have it where everything sticks in the wrong spot, and I don't like that. I added a little bit of extra blue ink to the pieces on my little sentiment that I cut out from that die set and the top of the bag, just to give it a little bit of extra. And then I'm going to go ahead and just add a few more of those little baubles, and that's going to basically finish up this card. I think it turned out wonderfully. Those little baubles are perfect little droplets from Scrappy Tales, and it worked really well. But there's a lot of different companies. You can get a lot of different ones that are similar that's going to work with this. But look how thick those are. Those are, I think some of them are about a 1/4 inch, and they're not sticking in place because I've got the foam tape to lift everything up just the right height to let them shake around a lot. This is just absolutely adorable. I love my card. Okay, so I'm going to put the last couple of little baubles on there, and that's going to finish this one up. And there we go. I think this turned out so cute. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I kind of... The first thing I thought when I saw that little bag was it had to be a shaker. We had to make it into a shaker, and I love it. And using the PearBlossom Press world's best foam tape, it just makes this so friggin' easy to do. So anyway, you guys have a wonderful day. Be sure to check out this playlist with more videos featuring products from PearBlossom Press, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye guys.